सोनेट किसने पढ़ा दिया आपको? दो तरह का ही सोनेट होता है। देखो, इसलिए मैं बोलता हूं कि आपके पास मोबाइल फोन ब्रांडेड हो या नहीं हो, कपड़ा ब्रांडेड हो या नहीं हो, क्लियर है, बुक थोड़ा स्टैंडर्ड क्वालिटी की पढ़िए, ब्रांडेड पढ़िए, और पढ़ाने वाला टीचर आपके पास थोड़ी ब्रांडेड होनी चाहिए, यानी स्टैंडर्ड नॉलेज वाले होने चाहिए। अब आपको, ठीक है, आपको किस किस कॉलेज में पढ़ाया गया मैं नहीं पूछ रहा हूँ, आप जनरली पढ़ोगे तो आपको दो ही तरह की सोनेट मिलेगा, बट दो नहीं, यहाँ 5 टाइप्स की सोनेट होता है। कितने टाइप्स की होता है? 5 टाइप्स। और आपको कितना पढ़ाया गया? ओनली 2 टाइप्स, यही ना? तो आप किस जगह पढ़ रहे हो, कहां पढ़ रहे हो, इस पर बहुत डिपेंड करता है, क्लियर है? देर आर 5 टाइप्स ऑफ सोनेट, but two are most famous. 5 types of sonnets are here, but two are most famous. The famous are, that is Italian sonnet and English sonnet. Italian sonnet is also called Petrarchan sonnet, and English sonnet is called Shakespearean sonnet. So both are famous. But apart from these two, there are three more types of sonnets. That is called Spenserian sonnet, Miltonic sonnet, and as I taught for the Cuttle sonnet, it is of 10.5 line. Actually, sonnet is one stanza, 14 lines poem written in iambic pentameter. As I have illustrated you about the meter, that is iambic, trochaic, dactylic, anapestic, spondaic, and pyrrhic. I have also illustrated you about the monometer, dimeter, trimeter, tetrameter, pentameter, hexameter, heptameter, octameter, nanometer, and decameter. As I told you, sonnet is one stanza, 14-line poems written in iambic pentameter. Here I would like to add one more thing. All the sonnets are not of 14 lines. In honors, if you are the student of English honors, then you don't have to understand that sonnet is only of 14 lines. Actually, there is a different kind of sonnet. It is called Cuttle sonnet. And Cuttle sonnet is of 10.5 line. It is not of 14 line. But most of the sonnet are of 14 line except one, that is Cuttle sonnet. Cuttle sonnet is of 10.5 line. A sonnet is one stanza 14-line poem written in iambic pentameter. The sonnet, which derived from the Italian word sonetto, which means a little song or a little sound. It is said that sonnet is a thought. Sonnet is a thought. As I have written here, sonnet is a thought to have been invented in Italy by a poet named Giacomo da Lentini in 13th century. But the term was popularized by a famous 14th century humanist scholar named Francesco Petrarca. I'm going to discuss about the first one, that is Italian sonnet. What is Italian sonnet? What is Italian sonnet? We are going to study that. It had been started in 14th century. It was written in 14th century, you can say, by a famous Italian poet, and the name of the poet was Francesco Petrarca. Francesco Petrarca, who had written it for his beloved. This type of sonnet divided into octave and sestet. Octave means 8 lines and sestet means 6 lines. As you all know that each and every sonnet describe about problem and solution. All the sonnet describe about the problem and solution. In the same way, the first one which we are going to discuss about the Italian sonnet, it also describe about the problem and solution. Since it has been written by the famous poet of Italy, Francesco Petrarca, as I told you, and in this type, means in this sonnet, you can say it has been divided into two parts. First one is octave and next one is sestet. As we all know that each sonnet describe about the problem and solution, as I told right now. In the same way, the Petrarchan sonnet also in the octave describe about the problem and in the sestet describe about the solution. Means up to the 8 lines, we are going to describe about the problem, and as soon as we enter into 9th line of this sonnet, then solution start. And the change from we enter from 8 lines into 9th line, it is called volta. It is called volta. So sometimes you can get the question in your examination, what is volta? So we'll have to describe in the 14 lines sonnet, from first line up to the 8th line, we know about the problem. And as soon as we enter into the ninth line, the solution start. Means octave talk about the problem and sextet talk about the solution. Means 8 lines talk about the problem and 6 lines talk about the solution. And from problem, when we enter into solution, means in ninth line, that is called volta. That is called volta. So rhyming scheme of this sonnet is A B B A A B B A. Or sometimes you can get a different kind of rhyming scheme also. A B B A A B B A. Yeah, C D E C D E you can get at the last. Got it? So next one which we are going to study, that is about the English sonnet. So English sonnet is also known as Shakespearean sonnet. It is also known as Elizabethan sonnet. Why it is known as Elizabethan sonnet? Why it is known as Elizabethan sonnet? It is also known as Elizabethan sonnet, Shakespearean sonnet, or English sonnet. It is the second one. By the name, it is clear that it is Shakespearean sonnet. The sonnet originated in 16th century by Thomas Waite. I just able to remember the name. That is the Thomas Waite, probably the name, who had translated Italian sonnet into English languages. Yeah, I think Thomas Waite had translated Italian sonnet into English languages. One other poet, the name Earl of Surrey, changed the structure and rhyming scheme of sonnet from octave sestet into three quatrain and one couplet. Means in Shakespearean sonnet you can get that. In English sonnet you can get there are no octave and sestet. Means there are no 8 lines and 6 lines. On the contrary, there are three quatrain and one that is called couplet. Couplet is of 2 lines, and as you know that quatrain it is of 4 lines. So there are three quatrains of four line. Next one is one couplet of 2 lines. During the age of Elizabeth, this sonnet was popularized by William Shakespeare, who wrote 154 sonnets. Remember this. William Shakespeare had written 154 sonnets. In this problem, in this sonnet, you can see that problems are described in 12 lines. Means in three quatrain, you can see that only the problems are described, and solution is given in 2 lines. That is in ending couplet. Means volta occur in last 2 lines. Means up to the three quatrain problems are described, and after the three quatrain volta start in 2 couplets. As I told that when we enter from problem to solution, that place is known as volta. Is so I hope you are getting about the Shakespearean sonnet also. So mostly 2 types of sonnets are famous in our locality. In English honors, you have to study about 2 types of sonnet. But in case you are going to prepare for NET, PGT, TGT, then you will have to remember these 3 types. Next one is Spenserian sonnet. One another sonnet, it is called Spenserian sonnet, which is created and used by Edmund Spenser, most popular in his collection Amoroti. In the structure, it is also like the Shakespearean sonnet, where three quatrain and one couplet is used. You must have read Like as a Huntsman, written by Edmund Spenser. Have you read that sonnet? It was Spenserian sonnet. Yeah, it was the example of Spenserian sonnet. Next one which we are going to study, that is Miltonic sonnet. What is Miltonic sonnet? Actually, Miltonic sonnet is a popular nowadays, which originated by John Milton. John Milton, in which iambic pentameter is used, in which rhyming scheme is A B B A A B B A C D E C D E. This sonnet is not divided into a stanza. This sonnet is not divided into a stanza. The whole sonnet is one couplet set. There are not octave, not sestet, or neither quatrain. This is very complicated type of sonnet. And if you understand Miltonic sonnet, then your English will be that strong. Next one is, as I discussed that in our locality, chiefly in Bihar or Jharkhand, you can say this sonnet is not so popular, but there is also one different kind of sonnet that is called Cuttle sonnet. Cuttle sonnet is of 10 line. It is of 10 line and half. Sorry, not 10 line, 10 line and half. one more famous sonnet, that is Curtain sonnet, which was written or searched by famous Victorian poet Gerard Manley Hopkins. Victorian poet he was. He was Victorian poet. It is totally different because there are not 14 lines, but there are only 10 and half lines. And half line is called tail piece of sonnet. Half line is called tail piece of sonnet. This sonnet divided into sestet and quatrain. Sestet means 6 line, quatrain is of 4 line. And another is tail piece. Usually, tail piece gives the conclusion in sonnet. In this sonnet, tail line discuss about the problem, and in the half line, you can get about the conclusion. So, this curtail sonnet, as I told, is divided into sestet containing 6 lines, then after quatrain containing 4 lines, and last one is half line, that is called tail piece. So, usually, two types of sonnets are popular, but you will have to take care about all 5 types of sonnet. I hope you are getting about the sonnet. You must have written all. Thank you.